السلام ورحمة الله. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. Close that, please. Yeah. Don't worry, everybody will be seated in a second. Everybody will be seated. Yeah, we can see.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه أجمعين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Indeed, all praise for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him. We seek His assistance and we seek His forgiveness. We seek refuge of Allah from evil of ourselves and out of our own wicked deeds. Whomsoever Allah guides, none can misguide. Whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not guide, there is no guide for them. I bear witness that none has the right to worship except for Allah. And that Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His last and final messenger sent to mankind. Or you believe, fear Allah. Or you believe, fear Allah, and do not die except as a Muslim. O mankind, and be your Lord, creation with a single soul, and then create its mate, and if not go, you created many men and women. And fear Allah, who you demand your equal right, and do not cut off the ties of kinship with the woman that bore you, for verily Allah to watch over you. Or you believe, fear Allah, and say a word that is straightforward and truthful. Your sister, He will guide you in righteous actions. And forgive you your sins. ويطيع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. And whoever obeys Allah is messenger, indeed they are successful. After that which follows, the most truthful speech is the book of Allah, and the best of guidance is the guidance of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and the most foul, wicked, and blameless affairs is the bid'ah. A newly invented thing into this affair of ours. For every bid'ah is a donata, and every is going straight, and every straight will take you to the fire of hell. You can turn that light back on, it's getting hot up there. Inshallah. So, inshallah ta'ala, today, I'm going to keep my promise of being today I want to share a little something about these two words, which is not an Arabic word, English. It's a little bit thought-provoking. It's about perception and perspective. There's all types of, if you've ever seen, probably on Facebook or on any one of these social media things, you see a picture of two people standing on one side, and there's these 3 or 4 lines, no matter however you may see them. And one person saying there's 3 lines, the other person saying there's 4 lines, and it's a matter of where the person is standing or what they see. Well, it's nothing new. That's what you're saying. But today, inshallah ta'ala, what I want to bring to our attention is a few different things. And a few different things I want to bring is something that most of us are very familiar with, right? If I was to use some terminology that we commonly use inside of Islam, like Tawheed, right? We all have a general understanding of what that is. Even if we're new Muslims, we've heard this word before, even we don't really understand it, right? Because in reality, a lot of us old Muslims really don't understand it. You say, how could you say that? How could you say that? Well, I say it's a matter of perspective and perception. Because, to be honest, early on in our Islam, for us that we bring into Islam, and some of us have probably been Muslim all of our lives. By that blessing and wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you never experienced any kind of shirk. You was not brought up on for anything except for haqq. SubhanAllah. But, what's the matter? The matter is sometimes how we understand something and the place in which we are standing. So I'm going to use perspective as a point of view. Meaning literally a point of view of like how you think, but also a point of view of where you're standing. Right? Because perspective can be that when I'm standing somewhere, I see something different from you when you're close up on it. You can't see what I see, and I don't see what you see. But the perception is the understanding that comes out from a perspective sometimes, right? So, vice versa, new Muslim, old Muslim, right? New Shahada, you've been Muslim for 20 years, you've been Muslim 15 years, right? See, so on and so forth. But it's all in the matter of where we're standing, because even a person who just took their Shahada can be standing in a better place, and we know that they are, because of them having their whole slate right. And us, who've been Muslim for a while, we've been collecting a lot of sins. So they're starting off in a different place than we are. They're starting off in a place that we know from before of having that zeal when you come into the deen. Now, having that zeal and coming into the deen, or when you first set out to start learning about Islam, if you've been Muslim all your life, right? You have this zeal. You want to seek this knowledge, alhamdulillah. So now what happens? Now, what happens is that sometimes you say, okay, now we take a class. There's a class of something, whatever it may be. And we go into this class. But you see, again, it's how we perceive this education. It's how we are, that generates how we are, our perception of what we're receiving. I understand, I don't want to get caught up in a lot of this wordplay. But to fully understand it, understand where we're going at today, it's very important that you remember this, and that we all remember this going forward. So, when we first started to learn Islam, right, we had this crazy zeal, this zest for this knowledge. We learned about Tawheed, right? Depending upon mostly, for the most part, we were taught 3 aspects of Tawheed. And if I was to say, hey, somebody tell me the 3 aspects of Tawheed, and easily it would go right off, boom, boom, boom. We would just say what we remember from it. But then when I ask the question, I say, tell me, how do you understand Tawheed? You would say, what's the oneness of Allah? Like, oneness in His Lordship, oneness in His Lordship, oneness in His names and attributes. I say, yeah, well, how do you understand that? What do you mean? I understand it the way that the Salaf has laid it down. That's how I understand it. There's no other understanding. So I said, well, how do you understand that? What do you mean by that? You see, because now the whole perceived notion about our understanding is just based off us regurgitating just what we were taught. We never moved from that point. We never moved from what we were taught, and it hasn't developed in us yet. It's problematic. So, well, what do you mean by that? I understand it, I believe in it, and how do you apply it? How do you apply it in your life? How does it move you? What has it done for you? Tell me the benefits of Tawheed. And as I'm asking these questions, ask yourself these questions. Ask yourself these questions. Because then our perception and our perspective becomes kind of like, where are we with this? Another thing, right? Early on, right? Like, one of these things that's not even a thing that you really like, that's necessary for you to know. It's good, right? So, what's the 7th condition of La ilaha illallah? Because this was the thing, right? What's the 7th condition of La ilaha illallah, right? Alhamdulillah, beautiful thing. Do you understand what the 7th condition of La ilaha illallah is? Do you understand what they are? Of course I do. Right? A person can run them down to you. Right? They start going all the way down, all the 7 conditions. Right? Sometimes 8, sometimes 9, all depending on who wrote the work. Understand that these books and these works and these things that these scholars have laid down and have done, this is how they were making it bigger. This was their reflection. They found the need and they fulfilled it. What need have you found and fulfilled? What need have you found and fulfilled? Where's your book? You can have a book too. Where's your book on Tawheed? How you understand it? How you took it from this other? How you took up and picked up this book? Let me show you a book. And I've known this as a prop. So yes. Here's a book. This book is Usadth Anwar. A lot of brothers have it. There's many different forms. There's a pocket form. And it's a beautiful book. Beautiful book. Very informative. Some of us have read it. Some of us has memorized it. We're working on memorizing it, right? Alhamdulillah. Beautiful. But what has it done for you? How do you understand this? And then, what translates inside your homes and your household? Not just your heart, but how does this translate into your homes and your households? Because if you find yourself in the same condition that you were when you picked up the book and when you filled your beautiful, illustrious library with everything in it, yet when you look at these books, what do you see in these books? What do you see when you pick up the Quran? What do you see when you hear the ahadith? What do you hear? What do you see? What do you understand from it? How does it motivate you? What does it do for you? And what are you doing with it? Where are your thoughts and reflection on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do you know him? Do you know Allah? You say, of course I know Allah. You do. SubhanAllah, you know Allah. We claim to know Allah. We tell the kuffar, the mushrikeen, the people that we give da'wah to. Allah, Allah this, Allah that. But what's up with us? There's a lot of lip service going on. There's a lot of delusional thinking that we have. We think that we're standing in one place and we don't even realize where we are. While somebody else outside looking can see that, man, this brother or this sister, they're messed up. We're saying all the right things, we're calling all the right people, but we're wondering why our da'wah has no effect on them, because it has no effect on us. The da'wah has no effect on us. I really got that little stuff for you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So now, was it the fault of some of our teachers who taught us, some of the people that we sat with, or the books that we bought in our library as we built it up? Because we were told, oh, you gotta have a library, your books gotta be up. You got all these books, read sometimes, and sometimes very seldomly read. MashaAllah. Because that's the perceived notion that we might have been given. We fell right into it. We just lined right up. We lined right up and said, yeah, that's it. And then it became a test. The only test, the most important test that you need to be studying for, that we all need to be prepared for, is those three questions. Those three questions. Who is your Lord? What is your deen? And who is your prophet? That's it. This is all. There's no, this whole notion of, oh yeah, go ahead, tell me this. Like when people are running up to people and try to test them. No, the test is Munkar and Nakir. That's the test. Everything else is something for you to build upon, so you can get a good grasp and an understanding of what these things are. They made it easy for us. When these scholars sat back and they reflected upon these things and they wrote these words, this is a form of their dhikr. This is how they were reflecting. We should have reflections too upon this in the right way. There's nothing wrong with you taking a journal. There's nothing wrong with you, contemplating about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, contemplating about the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a whole book by Ibn Qayyim, Men in the Universe, rahimahullah ta'ala. Beautiful book of him just contemplating about the creation. Taking an ayah, thinking about this and that, and he wrote about it. And from that he expounded upon many different things. A lot of these things have been made very, very easy for us. But it's all a matter of how we look at these things. We all come to Jumu'ah. What do we show up for? Some of us came because this was an obligation for us to come, or we came for some other need. Or we came for some other thing. But most of us, inshallah, we came because we know we wanted to get these sins off of us. We wanted to get forgiven. It's an obligation. And we love it. We love coming to Jumu'ah. We love the command of Allah. So when you understand some of these things, and of course I'm not going to go into all of these different aspects of different things, and I've brought my book, one of them, and because it's important. Because you read a book like this, I'll give you another example, real quick. So you read a book like this, where the Sheikh is laying out many different beautiful things, different aspects, and it's just like if you could see it and understand it, you can see how it is. But even to the point to where as though one of the aspects when he talks about giving da'wah, and when he talks about giving da'wah, And he breaks down, he says the four matters, the last of the matters, he says, something other than that, right? To have patience upon that. When he's calling to it to have patience. And sometimes we think about sabr. And then he even gives, there's even like, these definitions given inside the book. Yet, these things that we read, we're not taking it in, and it's not being implemented inside our lives day to day, which is problematic when it comes into how we deal with life and how we deal with our families and how we raise our children. Because all we're doing is just passing on the same thing from generation to generation because it doesn't stop. So how would you teach somebody? How would you go upon teaching someone else something about Islam if you have your notion and understanding isn't well thought out within yourself? So when you ask yourself these questions, you begin to go down a path. For instance, I'll give you an example, right? When you look at some hadith. Now, most common, and I want to make this as simple as possible, and I don't want to go too long into this. Yeah. So, as simple as possible, you look at some of the common things that we do, common practices that we have inside the masjid. One of the common practices that you may see from masjid to masjid is that usually sometime after the salat, maybe salat al-fajr, right? Because there's usually a very thin crowd, so there's usually maybe the same 10 or 8 or sometimes 3 people, right, in the masjid. And usually somebody will initiate something towards though you would take the Quran, you would read some ayah from the Quran, or you would take, a hadith, right? You would take a hadith and you read a hadith, right? So, here's a hadith. Come back, read a hadith, I've heard the hadith, boom. But that's it, we just read the hadith. We really haven't contemplated on what that hadith meant. And it hasn't really done anything. This happens most of the time. Sometimes, inshallah ta'ala, we get to the lab, we do get it. But here's the hadith. Right? This hadith of Abdul Rahman bin Uthman ibn Affan narrated that his father said, Zayd ibn Dada departed from Marwan on midday. I said he has not sent him out at this time of day except for something. And the reason why he's saying this is because during the day, usually in the hot climate, they would not see anybody out. If you remember a story from Umar bin Khattab when Uthman sees him out midday, which is around the time after the right? That it's really, really hot. And he seen him and he said, "What?" He said, "Who's this fool that's out here like this?" And he didn't realize it was Umar. And it was Umar He was out because he was trying to gather up the livestock because he was the Khalifa and he took the responsibility very seriously. And he went out to do it himself instead of sending somebody else out. And Uthman went out to go pull him out because he said, "This guy's going to pass out there." And this is the reason why he's mentioning that. So he's seeing somebody go right at the day. He said, "Something's going on." So he's going to go inquire. What you doing out? Right? Because this is not normal for the mind to be out like that. So he asked him about some things. So he was saying, he asked him about things that he heard from the source of some. So he asked him about, tell me a hadith, right? Tell me something. So he said, the source of some said that whoever is focused only on this world, Allah will confound his affairs and make him fear poverty constantly. Now, this is a hadith. And I'm not saying this to patronize anyone. I'm saying this because I love each and every one of you. I love each and every one of you. I love each and every one of you. Physically or not. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. He said, whoever is focused only on this world, Allah will confound his affairs and make him fear poverty constantly. And he will not get anything of this world except that which has been decreed for him. Whoever is focused on the hereafter, the akhirah, Allah will settle his affairs for him and make him feel content with what he has. And his provision and worldly gains will undoubtedly come to him. And everything he needs will come to him. Our concern is the afterlife. Our concern is the afterlife. And one of the meanings of this word that's used in here in Arabic, is like the work, right? Because in another narration, the narration of Abu Khalid al-Walabi narrated that Abu Hurairah, right, he said, he don't know, I do not know except that he attributed it to Rasul himself, right? And this is a Hasan hadith in Ibn Majah, and the other hadith is also Hasan hadith in Ibn Majah. Allah subhanahu says, Ya Ibn Adam, also to Adam, devote yourself to my worship, and I will fill your heart with contentment and take care of your poverty. But if you do not do that, then I will fill your heart with worldly concerns and will not take care of your poverty. We worry about some of these things. We have intense worry about some of these things. And we have less tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then these things drive us away from the remembrance of Allah. The Quran is put down until Ramadan, right? The dhikr is not so much anymore. And it becomes to a point to where it's though, and I apologize for going over my time, but to even making dua. Even making dua. Now, I want to make sure that I don't forget this, because I do this too often. I always forget something, because this is really the point that I want to really express. And I apologize for being long-winded. Now, in doing this, this was something that I didn't know. Never heard this before. This hadith is a Sahih hadith. It says collection of in Ibn Majah. This hadith number is 4,340. 4340. Right? It was narrated from Anas bin Malik. What do you know, man? That Rasul said, whoever asks for paradise 3 times. Rasulullah said, whoever asks for paradise, Jannah, 3 times. Did you know this? Because I did. That Jannah makes dua for you. Jannah makes dua for you and asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enter you into Jannah. If you ask for Jannah 3 times, if you ask for Jannah 3 times, Sahih Hadith. If you ask for Jannah 3 times, Jannah makes dua for you to be entered into Jannah. SubhanAllah. Yeah. Sahih Hadith. And whoever asks to be saved from Jahannam, la ilaha illallah. And whoever asks to be saved from Jahannam 3 times, Jahannam makes dua that Allah saves you from Jahannam. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. And the last thing I want to leave with is this. At the minimum, we can at least ask for Jannah 3 times. And at the minimum, we can ask to be saved from the fire 3 times. I'll leave you with this hadith. Abu Hurairah, every day Rasul said, it's a Sahih hadith, take on only as much as you can of the good deeds. Take on only as much as you can. Take on only as much as you can of the good deeds. Take on only as much as you can of the good deeds. Take on only as much as you can of the good deeds. But take something. Take on only as much as you can of the good deeds. Take on only as much as you can of the hasanat. Take on only as much as you can of the a'mal salihah. Take on only as much as you can of the good deeds. Only as much as you can of the good deeds. Only as much as you can. Only as much as you can. Only as much as you can. Do as much as you can. For the best deeds is them deeds which are done consistently. You know yourself. Or at least we think we do. But we know how weak that we really are. So, as a matter of perception and perspective, where you stand now and what you understand now, inshallah ta'ala, 3. Ask for paradise 3 times. Ask to be saved from the fire 3 times. Can we at least do that? Can we at least do that? And can we at least be consistent with that? Can we at least leave here with that? We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us our sins, past, present, future, open, hidden, and apparent. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless our souls, forgive us, forgive our brothers and sisters who preceded us in the Barzakh. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make their graves wide, grant them light upon light upon light, and to have mercy on our children, and to cause them to be extremely different from us, and to cause them to extremely do something better than what we have done with this deed. That's what Allah to not replace us, not to replace us with somebody who will love Him and then will worship Him better than us. That's what Allah to change us and make us better, so that we love Him more and that we worship Him in the right way.
Amen.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.